A very good morning, class 9th. I hope all of you are doing fine and healthy at your home or at your place. So, class, as you all know, that we are doing the second chapter of history, which is socialism in Europe and Russian Revolution. And in today's session, we are going to discuss about the 1905 revolution and what was its other name also, and why this revolution took a major role. Today we are going to discuss about that in our session. Now let's begin our session. So class, as we all know that Russia was an autocracy. Autocracy means one person ruling, and we know that it was ruled by the Tsar Nicholas II. And unlike other European countries, even at the beginning of the 20th century, the Tsar was not subject to parliament. So class, it was ruled by Tsar Nicholas II, and unlike the other European countries, even at the beginning of the 20th century, he was not subject to the parliament. In the sense, he had unlimited powers. There was no one to see the control of his powers, because there was no parliament, there was no constitution, and he was not even ready to have one constitution, unlike other European countries. In other European countries, we can see there was constitution, as well as the ruler or the dictator has a limited power, or control of power was there, as we have seen in the French Revolution. Talking about the liberals in Russia, though they try to campaign to the state affairs, though they try to make people aware, but together with the social democrats and social revolutionaries, they worked with peasants and workers during the revolution of 1905 to demand a constitution. So now it was the liberals class who was trying to campaign to end this to end this unlimited power, to end this autocratic rule. So what they did, they worked with social democrats as well as with social revolutionaries. These were the group of people, or you can say unions, that were formed for the welfare and betterment of the people, peasants, and as well as for the workers. So they worked with the peasants and with the workers during the revolution of 1905, and they demanded one thing for the constitution. So they wanted to make a constitution, and in which they can write down the control of powers, and the powers should not be given to one person. Similarly, we have studied in the French Revolution about the making of the constitution. Now class, furthermore, they were supported in the empire by the nationalists. Okay, so they were also supported by the nationalists. The empire has many type of unions that were formed in order to raise their voice, and there were also nationalists, and even in the Muslim dominated areas. So in Russia, we are aware that only one religion was being followed, and that was Orthodox Christianity, and no other religion was being given any importance. And we see that there was discrimination also. So there were certain areas that were dominated by the Muslim population, means lots and lots of Muslim population used to live there, and they were also in the favor. They also supported them because they want to modernize Islam. Okay, they want to spread their culture, and that was the reason they were dominated by these areas. Muslims dominated areas by Jadids. They were called as Jadids, and their aim was to modernize Islam, to lead their society. So they wanted to spread their culture, so that more and more people can get to know about their culture, and they also supported them in the fight against the Tsar Nicholas II. So now what happened in 1904, we are going to see that how the revolution take place. So class, in the year 1904, that was a particularly bad one for Russian workers. So the year 1904 was really bad one for the Russian workers, because price was getting high, and their wages declined. So the price of the essential goods was raising and their wages got declined by the 20%. So obviously there will be the problems that will be faced by the workers. They won't be able to get a good amount of essential goods, scarcity of essential goods for them, because their wages got declined by 20%. Furthermore, class, the membership of workers association rose dramatically. So class, we got to know that there were various unions for the workers also, and the membership was rising every day. There were like so many people joining this unions, because the prices was getting up and their wages was got down. When four members of the Assembly of Russian Workers, which was formed, were dismissed. Now what happened? There was a worker union was formed and its four members got dismissed from their work. So there was a call for industrial action. So now what happened? The industries, the capitalists threw them out of the job. So many workers felt insecure regarding their job and they decided to call for a strike for the industrial action. So they decided to call for the strike for the action that was taken by the capitalists. Now class, for over the next days, over more than 1 lakh workers in St. Petersburg went on strike, demanding a reduction in the working days to 8 hours, and increase in wages and improvement in working conditions. So now what happened? When they dismissed certain people of the worker unions, they called the strike, and for the next few days there were more than 1 lakh workers and they went for a strike. Okay, and place was St. Petersburg, because we got to know that St. Petersburg was a place where there was a hub for the industries. So many workers from different industries joined there and they demanded one thing, that was the reduction in the working hours to 8 hours. Earlier they used to have 16 hours of working hours. Now they wanted to reduce it to 8 hours, plus they wanted to increase their wages and furthermore their improvement in working conditions. We know that their working conditions wasn't good, so they demanded to improve their working condition, increase their wages and to reduce their time limit, since they were working more than 16 hours a day and their working conditions was not that good. Furthermore class, when the procession of workers led by Father Gapin reached the Winter Palace, it was attacked by the police and the Cossacks. So when the procession means when lots of people, we have read that more than 1 lakh of people joined this strike. So it was led by the Father Gapin, and when they reached the Winter Palace where the king was living, it was attacked by the police and the Cossacks. So for the safety of the king, it was attacked, the police attacked them and the soldiers attacked them. As a result, over 100 workers were killed and about 300 wounded. So now so many workers were there and they attacked by the police, and as a result was that 100 workers were killed and about 300 were wounded. This incident is known as Bloody Sunday. So this incident we call it as a Bloody Sunday, and after this a series of events that became known as the 1905 revolution. So class, after this Bloody Sunday there began a series of revolutions activities, and this is known as 1905 revolution. You can say that it was the beginning for the revolution, it was the beginning for the raising their voice, it was the beginning for them so that they can do something for the workers as well as for the countries. So now class, what happened? Strike was all over the places in the countries, whether it was universities, schools, industries. So what happened? There were strikes. Students, people walk out from their universities. They made various association campaigned about the lack of civil liberties. Lawyers, doctors, engineers and other middle class workers established the unions of unions as demanded a constituent assembly. So you can see strike was there in every part of the country. Each and every part of the Russia was facing the strike. Various unions being formed. Certain unions was formed by doctors, engineers, even students was also forming the unions, and their main aim for forming these unions was to demand a constituent assembly so that there can be a check in the power of the king. So similarly, the French also demanded for the check of the power. The same was the case with the Russia also. They wanted to form a constituent assembly. Now, during the 1905 revolution, now Tsar Nicholas has saw this revolution, and he was like, the people have so much passion and enthusiasm against him and against for the formation of the parliament. He allowed the people to create one elective consultative parliament. So he gave the permission that yes, you can form the creation, yes, you can form the elective consultative parliament, and it was called as Duma. Okay, you can write down as parliament also, or as well as Duma. So Duma, you can say that it was an elected consultative parliament. So Duma was the name. Now for a brief while, during the revolution, there existed a large number of trade unions and factory communities made up of factory of workers. So class, during the revolution, we have seen that there was so much of unions that were formed. It was factory community also made up factory workers. So you can see variety of unions were formed during this time. Now class, what happened after 1905? Most of the communities and the workers worked unofficially. So after 1905, there was a law, it was passed, and because of this law, most of the union have to work unofficially because they were considered as illegal, and it was a law that was passed that no parties or no unions will be formed, and if any of the parties or union will be formed, it will be considered as illegal. Certain restrictions were there on the political activity also. So you can see that there was restrictions on the political activity also. Furthermore, Tsar Nicholas was a very intelligent person. He dismissed the first Duma within 75 days. So within 75 days, he removed the Duma, and he re-elected second Duma within 3 months. So first Duma that was formed was dismissed by him within 75 days, and he re-elected the second Duma within 3 months. So he did not want any questioning of his authority or reduction in his power. So he dismissed and he re-elected Duma because he never wanted anyone to question his authority, or he does not even want to do any reduction in his power. He changed even the voting laws and packed the third Duma with conservative politicians. So you can see that he played a very clever game. He changed the voting powers, he changed the voting rules also, as well as the laws, and he even packed the third Duma, in the sense that the third Duma was ruled with conservative politicians, and liberals and revolutionaries were kept out. So only the conservatives who believe that change should be brought, but with a very small speed, and we should respect our own culture. So Duma was run by them. Furthermore, liberals and revolutionaries were nowhere seen. They were kept out of the Duma. So you can see that Tsar Nicholas was a very clever man, and he was greedy towards his power. He never wanted the betterment of the people, and if people are doing something, though he played a very, very cunning game. And moreover, the people are getting aware about their rights, their duties, and there were certain series of revolutionary activities that happened after Bloody Sunday, and we will be discussing slowly with the passage of time. So till then, read the pages of your NCERT of chapter number 2, Russian Revolution and Socialism in Europe. Thank you.